There's a number of different approaches that you can utilize when you're looking at tenancy models. So if we start on the left-hand side of this diagram, we have something that's referred to as isolated tenancy. So in this model, you can see that you have three different tenants. There's three different instances of the application that are installed. Each of those applications are working with their own isolated database, and each of those are all running on their own isolated infrastructure. So this is the pure isolated model. So there's it's not multi-tenancy, this is single tenancy in its most basic form. If we move over to the next diagram, we can see that the infrastructure layer is now shared. And so this would be sometimes referred to as shared hosting, but where basically you're utilizing the same infrastructure to create an environment so that you can still have multiple tenants, each with their own distinct applications and their own distinct databases, but they're running on the same infrastructure. And then if we move up to the next diagram, closer to the shared side, we now have application tenancy. And the difference here in this diagram is we have one instance of the application which is running. That application for each tenant has its own isolated database. And again, it's running on a shared infrastructure. And so this is what we refer to as application tenancy. And then the last model here, the last diagram, is shared tenancy. And in this model, you have three different tenants. There's one instance of the application that is installed. That application works with one database. So all of the data for all of the different tenants is stored in one database. Of course, it's identified specifically for each tenant so that it can be retrieved and utilized in the application. And then it runs on a shared infrastructure. So this kind of runs the whole gamut of different options that you have when you're looking at either sort of isolated / dedicated model for running or for building an application, all the way to a completely shared model. And so you have a lot of different options to consider when it comes to tenancy.